Should we start? Yes. Okay, great. Okay, welcome to this afternoon session on sustainable supply chains. My name is Bob Halprin. I'm a research affiliate at the MIT Center for Collective Intelligence. I'm going to be the moderator for today's session. And I want to tell you that this session will work similarly to the ones you went to this morning. Each one has its own particular variation and approach. But basically, I'm going to ask the winners to introduce themselves in just a moment and tell us what the title of their winning entry was. We're then going to get to see some videos from each of them. They've each put together a several-minute-long video that explains what they've done. I will then make a couple comments, ask a couple questions, take some comments and questions from the audience, and then we're going to go to breakout groups so that you can get up close and personal with one or another of the winners and talk to them a little further. And then about 5 minutes before we end, I'll just bring people back together to wrap it up and close the session and tell you where we're going next. So that's the plan. A really important topic, obviously, sustainable supply chains. If we could, and you can see by the proposals that have come forward and the winners that are here that this could have huge impact. This could really move the needle on climate change issues if one or more of these can really get some traction and can get sustainability in terms of their own goals. So let me introduce, or let me ask each of the winners to introduce themselves. Eduardo, would you go first, please? Just your name, maybe just say the names of your other team members who are here and what you're focused on.
Well, I am Eduardo Fracassi. I'm from Argentina, and here I have 3 teammates. They are Aileen Vázquez-Chenlo, Marina Fuster, and Marco Esposito.
And your topic or subject, just a headline?
Our proposal is 25 degrees centigrade, 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's about using air conditioners the right way.
Great, thank you very much. And now, Antira, please.
Hi, my name is Antira Mares. I'm with the project Sourceseed, and here's Andrea Soloyo, which is also part of the team. Claire and Ken couldn't make it. We're pretty much an international team from the States, Korea, China, and Mexico.
Wow.
And we work on a solution for manufacturers and suppliers and a small designer and medium.
Great, thank you. And now, appearing from off stage. Oh no, I thought, okay, I'm sorry. Are we gonna see Juliana? Can we make them, there we are. Okay, so I guess if I stand here, you can, I don't know if they can see me, but we have Lucas and Juliana, and could you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're calling in from and what your project focus is.
Good afternoon, you all. I am Lucas.
I'm Juliana.
We are talking from São Paulo, Brazil, and we are here to present Retalhar. It's a social business that promotes conscious textiles of reverse logistics. We promote sustainable disposal for textiles.
Great, thank you. And so Juliana and Lucas will be with us. I think, well, we're going to push you off screen for a moment. I mean, in our setup here, I mean, so that we can show the videos. Each team has a video, and so Tim, do we have those queued up and ready to go? So I don't know what order you have them in. We could do them in the order they were listed, or so we could start with 25C, and here we go.
The Earth is our home, and climate change is destroying it. We must work together to stop it. Regulating the AC industry globally so all new air conditioners have a minimum of 77 Fahrenheit would contribute to this task.
Lo que proponemos es un control inteligente de la temperatura y de la humedad para que los usuarios sientan una sensación de confort. Y además, comodidad. El usuario solamente va a tener que prender y apagar el aparato, nada más. todo el control inteligente lo va a hacer este aparatito, que puede estar incorporado a los equipos nuevos o ser algo ad hoc que se fabricará para los equipos viejos.
Un día estamos haciendo un brainstorming y se me ocurrió la idea por 3 razones. La primera es porque en Argentina la energía es muy barata, está desfasado el sistema de tarifas y la gente no se da cuenta que hay que ahorrar. La segunda es que en el verano estaba con mis papás y la verdad que ellos siempre ponían el aire acondicionado al mínimo y no se daban cuenta del derroche de energía que hacía. Y la tercera es porque empecé realmente interesada en el tema, gracias a Eduardo y al equipo que puede investigar y darme cuenta de la importancia de la difusión del tema y de que debe haber migración. To calculate the impact of this idea, engineer Abhishek Haim developed a new formula. He took into consideration outside temperature, old temperature, and new temperature. This formula was the key to discover the huge impact of this simple idea and how it would affect millions of people not only environmentally but also socially.
Muy sorprendidos por el impacto y queríamos transmitirle esto a la gente. Por esto decidimos desarrollar una aplicación para celular donde las personas puedan ver cuánto están ahorrando tanto en dinero como en emisiones de carbono.
Una idea simple no deja de ser efectiva y realmente una idea buena, llevada a cabo, que puede impactar a mucha gente, no necesariamente tiene que tener una complejidad que exceda el alcance de una persona común.
El cambio climático es algo de todos tenemos que ayudar y es muy elogioso que un grupo de gente tan joven ayude a cambiar los hábitos de todos los habitantes del planeta.
Let's give a round of applause. That was great. Thank you. Okay, we'll bring up the next one.
It all started with a question. What if fabrics were more affordable to designers? What if there were curated alternative material options that allowed designers to co-buy, access better choices, better performance, and better decisions? Okay, that's more than one question, but we have more than one vision. Welcome to SourceSeed, a revolutionary online service and material logistics company that gives designers exactly what they deserve: access to the high-quality, sustainable, and in-demand materials they need at a price they can afford. SourceSeed is the first of its kind, offering cost-effective solutions and simplified purchase processes like nothing the world has ever seen. We realize that designers have enough to worry about day in and day out. To waste such a vast amounts of time on sourcing the stuff they need to make the magic happen. You've got deadlines, tight budgets, and that's where SourceSeed comes in, taking care of all that legwork, leaving you to get on with what matters the most. We'll locate and lock down the manufacturers you're looking for, allowing you to embrace effective collaboration to meet your minimum orders. Our research is extensive because we truly care about opening your eyes to the latest that's out there. We'll negotiate on your behalf, giving you more time, more money, more potential to do what you do best. Imagine a future where any business of any size could freely order their desired quantity and spend time choosing their desired materials. Finally, you can secure those sustainable materials you thought were too expensive, the innovative textiles you couldn't find, the eco-friendly and affordable future that you thought was out of reach, until now. The future of design is on the horizon, and we can't wait to continue our journey with you by our side.
Do you know that to produce a simple cotton t-shirt is necessary 2,500 liters of water?
And in a bigger scale, the global cotton productions consume 18% of pesticides that are spread through the world. But the most impactful thing is that these cotton fields covers only 2.4% of the agricultural area. It is an unclosed cycle that ends up overburdened and contaminating soil and water, which impacts in the whole ecosystem. One of the enormous variety of products that are made by textile material, and in a specific area is even more impactful. Only in Brazil, 250 million of pieces of workwear are produced every year. If it's used, it will be discarded. In Brazil, it is represent 80,000 tons per year of textile waste that will be landfill or incinerated.
Retalhar is a social business that does the conscious reverse logistics of corporate garments, which means that we take old uniforms and we repurpose them in an environmental friendly way. We transform the uniform discard issue into social environmental innovation, guaranteeing the security of logos. Because of a brand problem related to old uniforms, Brazilian companies usually burn these materials. Retalhar repurposes the garments because we believe that any waste can be a resource for somebody somewhere. So we provide the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and the economy of natural resources, reducing the demand on new raw materials. On the social side, we have an inclusive value chain, working with co-ops of low-income seamstresses. More than providing income, we work on the empowerment of these women. Everything we made is about revaluing textile waste, using it as a tool to promote environmental awareness and human empowerment. So far, Retalhar has impacted 32 women from 6 small seamstress groups and generated to them $20,000. About 12 tons of textile waste have been recycled or reused, avoiding the emission of 170 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent.
By 2020, we want to attend companies from all around Brazil and expand our operations to reuse and recycle other types of textile waste. In the medium term, we want to develop a new technology that allows a better revaluation of textiles to contribute to increase the circularity of the economy system. Currently, more than money to invest in infrastructure and human resource to support our operations, we want to have some guidance to institutional strength, using it to advocate, influencing government to increase inspections and penalties about bad practices of companies' waste management.
Okay, that was terrific. As I said at the beginning, these types of proposals have huge potential to really move the needle on climate change. So I want to just start with a question to each of the panelists, and you can ask your colleagues to help answer if you wish. I've done a lot of work over the years with Professor Steve Eppinger here at MIT Sloan School. He teaches a course on design thinking. Some of you may know the course. And as part of that course, you have to develop innovative products or services. And he's got 3 simple questions that he asks, or that he encourages the students to ask about their new product or service idea. And so I want to ask you each these questions and ask you to reflect on where you think the greatest challenges are related to these 3 questions. And let me just say before I say the 3 questions, Steve likes to tell people that 2 of the people that were in his course a number of years ago were 2 students from the Rhode Island School of Design who had the idea for Airbnb. Okay, so you guys who are here today, you someday could be, you know, as big as Airbnb. So here's the 3 questions he asks. The first is it viable, is it desirable from the market? Does the market want it? Does the market think that this would be good, desirable? So market. The second question is technical feasibility. Is it technically feasible to do what you're talking about doing? And the third question is about business viability. In other words, can we make the economics of it work, whether it's a for-profit business or social enterprise, but you still have to make the income or the revenue at least equal, if not exceed, the expenses. So I'd like to just ask each of you to reflect on which of these are the biggest challenges: the market desirability, the technical feasibility, or the business viability, or is it some combination? So Eduardo, would you be willing to go first? And you can ask your colleagues to respond as well.
Okay, you may help me if you feel that you are adding value. I think that in the first, the most important barrier to adoption of this proposal, that is, people need a paradigm shift. People set their air conditioners with only one number, with the number that's on the screen of the control, and that's doesn't reflect the real experience of the user of an air conditioner. Because if I ask you which temperature are we having now in this room, who knows? I ask you, does anyone know how? Do you have a temperature sensor, a thermometer? Perhaps if you have a thermometer, you may know how much, and which is the relative humidity of the room. So what you really know whether you are comfortable or not. So we propose a paradigm shift from the temperature to comfort, simplicity, and energy savings, and obviously helping with climate change, reducing the greenhouse gases emission.
So if I could play back what you've just said, what I heard you saying is that it's not technically difficult to do what you're talking about doing. You didn't speak so much to the business viability, but there's a market, the user, it's a paradigm shift we have to enable and educate related to the end users.
Well, we are building a prototype of this controller, and the chips cost $15.
So it's not it's technically not a problem. So
and in Buenos Aires, the government is helping us now because we even met the president. The issue is that in Buenos Aires, there are blackouts. There is not enough energy for the summer. All people start their air conditioning machines, and there is not enough energy supply for all, so the system shuts down. Heard about 14% savings of energy consumption. It said, we need this. We need it now. And we met the Minister of Environment, and we are working now with the Ministry of Energy.
So you've got a process you're going through to try to make some progress on these different dimensions. Can I pause in it, because I just want to make sure I hear from everybody. So, Andrea, can you speak to the market desirability, the technical feasibility, and the business viability of your idea?
Actually, before starting Sourceit, large research process to find out what the market needed for us to create Sourceit. So we spoke and interviewed designers in small companies, design students from medium companies, and also from corporations. And we saw the necessity for more sustainable fabrics to be more affordable. So that's why we created the project Sourceit. Feasible? Yes, it's very feasible. There is a market opportunity, and the cost of developing is not that expensive. It's more about the connections and partnerships that we need to meet in order to move forward. And the business model is already created, the platform, how it's gonna work. So the 3 questions, pretty good.
You think you're in good shape there? You're ready to go forward, charge forward. Okay, great. So let's bring up Juliana and Lucas, if we could. Here they are. And did you hear my question? Could you think about how would you respond regarding your idea?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the opportunity. We, as well as sorry, I forgot the lady's name who just spoke.
Andrea.
Yeah, that's right. She said that she did a market research to understand if she would fit. We also did a market research to understand what companies do with their uniforms. So we called up to 50 companies to understand how they usually dispose their cooperative garments, and most of them pretty much burned and incinerate their uniform. Therefore, we pretty much understood that our solution, which is through recycling and reusing, would be very suitable for the market needs. All companies that we researched, they showed interest to know if we were suggesting some new opportunities or technologies. It is technically feasible. We've been working for almost 4 years right now, and we've already done up to 30 toneladas of material that has been recycled. And it's been so far economically viable once we have contracts with big companies that are big generators of garments to be disposed, and we are taking these uniforms and recycling them. So we have contracts with including multinationals, we can FedEx and stuff, Federal Express, and we have found to them a solution to absorb the whole amount of uniforms they keep generating to dispose. I don't know if I made myself clear, guy.
Yep. No, that's great. Thank you. So let me open it up to the audience. I'd love to hear your questions, your comments on what you've heard from the three winners today. What's on your mind? What are your questions, your challenges, your encouragement? Go ahead, please. And here, I'm going to give you the microphone because that way they can't hear you unless you're speaking into the mic.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and
Just say your name.
Hi, Phil Jutras. Pleasure to be here and to listen to this nice presentation. I was wondering about the recycling of the textiles as it is either a pure cotton, a synthetic, or a mixed. Does it make any difference in what you do with the material?
Please respond.
Is that to us, right?
Yes. Please.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the material itself does, for the proposal that we are bringing on, doesn't matter very much. We take polyester, we take cotton, we take elastics, and we take pretty much the fiber itself, because we turn the fiber into a no-woven process. We make it a felt fiber. So the fiber itself is a raw material to get transformed into a new fiber, which is not a line, but it's a fiber itself. It's kind of felt. In English, it might be a felt fiber, a carpet or something like that. So the technology the technology available, it's already set to the amount of materials that is promoted. For example, we have clients from the construction zone that is 100% cotton, and it goes very well. As I just said, Federal Express has a lot of polyester into their uniforms, and it also is quite simple to be recycled. And what we do with these uniforms itself, as our YouTube video shows, we take out the logo mark, the brand of the company, and we pretty much unfiber them. We make it as simple as a material to be used into the automotive industry as a popular blankets. We see the uniform unfibered as a raw material to have a new felt fiber. Make sense?
Thank you. I saw another hand. Yep, here we go.
I have a question on the sustainable fabrics. The question I have is, I understand the need and people wanting to use sustainable fabrics in their designs, but how do you keep the cost down? How do you find sustainable fabrics that are cost competitive?
Okay, so the problem with sustainable fabrics is that it's more expensive to produce it in smaller quantities. So for them to go through the whole process, they will pay the same price as if they produce in bulk. What we're trying to do with Sourceit is getting 3 or 4 of you guys that are looking for the same fabric to team up and co-buy it. That way we reduce the cost, and then from the manufacturer or supplier, we can directly export it to the different destinations.
I see, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a question for the 25C group, just so we can kind of share it around? Here we go.
Hi, Otto Thomas. I'm at MIT researcher. First, congratulations. I'm very proud of your group from Argentina. One thing, have you considered this chip or this technology to make it compulsory instead of being an option for people to buy it and install it in their house, in their air conditioning devices?
Well, at first we're thinking about to make it something that you want to do. Because when you have a great installed base, 50% of the population use and see that it works and it saves money and you're comfortable, then passing a regulation is much simpler. Have I been clear? Am I clear?
Yeah, perfectly clear. Yeah, but considering the Argentinian culture that there's not so environmental culture about the things, would you think it would be possible to install that market shift or the changes in behavior?
Well, if you have feedback, this is something like Internet of Things. So if you have feedback, your smartphone, it can be connected to the utilities, and you can voluntarily share information with them, but you receive something in exchange, perhaps a tax cut or whatever. You will really use the machine you, and it will help the utilities. They will have to invest less in generation and invest much less in transmission. So it helps the government, it helps the people.
I agree that it really helps, and I think like it will be great to develop it, but deeply, at least in Buenos Aires, where there are too many air conditioners going on during the summer. And I was thinking about how to do it faster, for at least for the Buenos Aires city. Okay, that was the main concern, because of energy shortage, as you said. Blackouts are very common there, and this technology is like it would be very helpful for energy consumption, energy saving.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Other comments and questions? So what's getting triggered for you here by these proposals? I'm sure there are some other, go ahead, please.
Hello. I'd just like to ask where you are in Source C. Like, how have you managed to group, people's desires for a particular fabric and successfully bring the price down?
Actually, we have right now like a small library of products that we would like to start testing when we move forward. Right now, we're still like in the ideation process. So any feedback you guys have is more than welcome, or any resources that could help us test our project. It will be amazing. That's what we want to do, test it and see how the market reacts, to see what are the next steps we need to take. We were thinking of having like a warehouse here in the States where people can test the products. That's one part of the idea, but then let's see how that works.
Yep, please, go ahead. We'll take one more question now, and then we're going to go into smaller groups so we can get some more.
So for 25C, I was wondering if the model was based on centralized AC or for window units or both, and how do you address those challenges?
We are thinking basically on residential use. Those air conditioners that are bought by people in the supermarket. So they don't have, they're for the typical small room, that kind of air conditioners. We're not for keeping refrigerators or.
But what about central? He's also asking about central, where instead of a unit in each room, you have a central unit for the whole house. Would you also address that?
Well, I suppose that kind of installations were made by a proficient engineer or technician, and there is a cost-saving equation, so it makes no sense setting the temperature in it too low. So we are not expecting to gain much in that area. But yes, your own house or a small office and for residential use.
So what we want to do now is, as we did this morning in most of the sessions, we want to give you a chance to get up close and personal with at least one of these groups. And so we're going to ask the 25C group, since the 4 of you are here, we're going to have a small group up here if you'd like to talk further, either questions or ideas or support, or just you've got some, maybe it relates to some of your own interests and ideas. So we're going to ask the 25C group to be up here. We're going to ask, you're here, Andrea, so Andrea and Trey will come over here, and we'll invite you people who would like to talk to them to come over here. And then back where Laura is, kind of in the back, we have the ability to also have the vert conversation with Juliana and Lucas. So Juliana and Lucas, a few people, or we'll see, people will come to each of the groups. So I'm going to invite you to stand now. Hear a little more and ask some more questions. And we'll do this for about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, Juliana, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'll sit for this now. Hi, yes, okay. Lucas, I can hear you too.
Yeah, so just put your chairs in a circle.
All right.
You guys can you can sit down.
So we're gonna have these folks over here.
Yes. Yeah, we're not fashion designers at all.
Ah, yes. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to. All right, I do some. Feel free to move this around and everything. I'm just going to adjust it from this side as well.
Okay, this is Bob. I'm the moderator, and we've got a few other people gathered here. Do you want to just, here, I'm going to point this, so why don't you introduce yourself?
Barbara Bachelum. I also work in supply chain, so very interested. You've got a great project going there.
And here is, go ahead.
Bom dia, eu sou Reverend Mariama. Eu falo
Bom dia.
Great.
Como vai?
Okay. So, what's your comment or your question to Lucas and Juliana?
So I was, sorry, can you see? I was interested in terms of how does knowing a little bit more about how your sort of uniform system works. Is it like similar colors all across the country? Are they different? Like, what is the system of uniforms look like, and then how do you sort of match all those needs?
Okay, I think that we are a service provider. Okay, our clients are companies that have into their business people uniformed. So as I said, we attend companies that works in the construction sector. They usually have orange uniforms with reflective types on their knees and stuff. We also attend companies, airplane companies, like, well, we do not have any, well, Brazilian companies in this case. So we attend people that dress like administrative things.
Okay.
What the main point of Retalhar is that we treat the uniforms as not exactly as a garbage or something that is going to be burnt or incinerated, and we pretty much reevaluate them. So we wash all uniforms in a laundry, we laundry them up, then we take the brands off. So the colors and the quality of the material, it doesn't really matter to us, because we transform the uniforms into products. As I said, for example, we recycle the uniforms into popular blankets. We use the uniform as a raw material to produce new things. And we are still studying if we can, for example, set up a model that we can resell second-hand uniforms. But in Brazil, the second-hand is not as accepted, as well as accepted as in US. I'm lost now. Sorry, but so far once we just recycle things, we don't matter very well if it's black, white, orange, purple. Make
Okay, so
sense?
you can take in any color, any kind of, and do you always need to get them in bulk? Like, how many are you taking for the average company? Does it need to be we don't really want to talk to you unless it's 50 uniforms, or if they
No.
want to send you 3.
Yeah, well, we had to define this a couple of years ago. When we began, we took 1 uniform and we took 1,000 uniforms, and so far we have seen that if the amount is bigger, chances are to make the business run, because the small quantities, usually companies that produce little companies of little amounts of uniforms, they don't pretty much have budget sometimes to make things happen. As I said, we price them by kilo of uniform. So and a lot of things goes onwards this kilo, which means the commuting of these uniforms, the freight of these uniforms, if it's close to Retalhar, or if it's far away from Retalhar, and everything end up changing the prices. So we don't have a table, but it's priced by kilo usually. And just to show, this is a popular blanket made by uniforms. So we recycled it into popular blankets. Make sense now?
Yep.
É que eu não sei se poderia mostrar. Can we use this? I don't think it's fair with the other people, right?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
We didn't hear that.
I asked if I can show things.
Yeah.
Please, definitely show it.
Yeah, but I don't think it's fair with the other ones in there. They don't have these on their hands.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It doesn't have to be fair.
Okay. So the uniforms also make like to put put teeth brush and stuff. I forgot necessaries. And this is the uniform recycled. So it's an unfibered thing, which is raw material to make carpets, to make popular blankets, and this is uniform recycled. Okay? Makes sense now? So you see the color itself is very changeable. You see orange types, you see yellow types, you see, you know.
So I have a couple of different questions. One is in terms of how you get kind of distribution, it's a big country. How do you go from place to place? How have you approached getting your materials efficiently? And on the other end, who are your biggest channels? Like how are you going for channels as a way of kind of reaching the public, or are you going directly without channels? So two different questions.
Okay, the first question is about distribution. We are based in São Paulo, which is the biggest city in Brazil, as well as the financial city of Brazil. So mostly of the big companies that are in Brazil, they are, if not in São Paulo, in the Great São Paulo. So
that's even big enough as it is. So do they bring to you, or do you go get?
Well, if we are talking about, I don't know to put in miles, maybe 50 miles away, we can pick it up easily. Above 50 miles, it begins to be a issue. Oh, makes sense. For example, I cannot bring things from Rio de Janeiro, which is, I don't know, maybe 700 miles from here. I'm not sure in miles, but it is a big country. Our public is most target in São Paulo, companies that has São Paulo as the headquarters, and therefore the company usually is in charge to bring things from Amazon to here, which is really far. So we pretty much use, if something is very far away, we ask if the company has internal logistics. Otherwise, we always propose, but it's been very hard to promote a job in somewhere far off 50 miles. And the second question is about the channels of sales. We definitely are very active on this. We understand that companies face troubles to dispose these uniforms, and usually they open their doors to listen what we want to propose. We also talk with uniform producers that once we figure out partnerships with uniform producers as well with fabric producers. But the main point is that the issue is still on the uniform user, because he has the logo in the brand and he has the physical area used. So usually the main challenge is to make sure that the uniform user will have their uniform disposed easily, environmentally friendly saying. So we have a channel of sales very solid with the uniform users. We also work with agencies like consultancies that find out solutions for their clients, and when they bring the problem of uniforms, this consultancy call on us, and we pretty much have like commissions and stuff. But it's definitely, in my point of view, a huge market to be explored. No one else in Brazil, and I'm getting to know about the worldwide, but what we've been talking about is very usually neglected. People don't like to talk about the uniforms. They are dirty. They have the brand. They have zippers and buttons, and we face this problem pretty much washing the uniforms, manually taking the brands out, and making the uniform available to be reused again, recycled or reused again. So this makes trying to resume to conclude my speak my say. We have been very well accepted into the companies that we talk, and we also see it's an interesting thing to say that multinationals or international companies are highly chances to make business with us than a Brazilian company. So we talk to Kimberly-Clark, we talk to Federal Express, we talk to DHL, we talk to several international companies that has business running in Brazil, and they are times more aware about the legislation than the Brazilians. We have a legislation that says that every single trash cannot be landfilled and cannot be incinerated. So Retalhar is based on a national legislation that usually companies that come from overseas are times more aware about this than the national companies.
Fred,
Did I make myself clear?
Yeah. Thank you. Hi, this is Laura. I'm the co-lab manager. Great to see you.
Hey, Laurie.
Hi. My question is how you brand your products. Do you brand them as environmental products? Do you not use the environmental branding? Are you selling back to the people where you got the fabrics from? Are you selling in high-end eco retailers? What does that part look like?
I think that our proposal is it has a DNA, environmental DNA, but it's very well accepted by the marketing companies. Usually, the budget comes from the marketing. Our hand-in is beyond the product, so beyond the blanket and beyond the necessary. We also hand in a report saying how much CO2 gains has been avoided, how many liters of water had been prevented, how much money the NGOs that work with us they have been granted. So we believe that although our work is based into waste management, therefore it's a environmental matter, it's been very well accepted by the marketing. Marketing look to us and see us as a innovation and see us into a new perspective to their companies. I'm gonna talk about again Federal Express, because Federal Express Brazil make things that the Federal Express Global is now making. So we perhaps gonna start to do larger things to Federal Express, and it's been absolutely, at least in Brazil, it made a big buzz, and they also put into their worldwide website, and I of course can send you the link to understand what we do. But I think that trying to answer your question about how do we brand this, we of course we make a position being a social environmental actor into the stakeholder supply chain, but our value is more expressed through the market, through the communication, through these reports. Because what is the matter is that if they want to just get rid of their uniforms, they still make the same, which is landfill and incinerate. But it's not interesting to the brand, to the client in this case, to associate their image into non-legal practice, let's say this. So we promote the legal practice, which is, of course, the legal practice is about environmental and social, and they make a nice communication about this. We are also thinking to as you just said, and as I put behindly, to resell second-hand garments, and therefore we will have to have our brand strength to be able to associate second-hand uniforms with a better environmental use of these clothes. But we are still thinking, how can we make this?
Can I add something? But we don't have a channel to sell the products or something like this. Sorry, we don't have a channel to sell products like this. We just resell for the company that bought our service.
You understood?
So just to say that again, you're not selling these in stores. You're selling them back to the companies that gave you the goods in the first place.
Yeah, the companies have to buy back these things. We do not have a store. We do not have e-commerce. We do not have anything to sell this, because this is the brand stuff. Sorry, this is the brand. This is the company uniforms, and usually companies they get back to Christmas time or to I don't know, to make internal marketing.
That's actually a great idea, because entering the retail market is so difficult. And with a team that's small like your team, I just see that as being incredibly challenging, and you have to deal with all of the branding issues and how you market yourselves, and then the price points, people don't want to pay more for it or whatever it is. But you're really avoiding all of that by giving these kinds of providing gifts, selling back as gifts almost to these companies, and they could see it as a value add for their employees. Exactly. So that's really interesting.
What's your biggest expense? What are your biggest overhead burdens?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
What's your biggest overhead burden? And I mean, it's great. It's a great concept. A small team, kind of. It's not very capital intensive, I guess. I guess that's my question. Where are your costs? Where are the biggest costs in your operation?
All right. Our costs lives on the laundry. Our higher costs lives on the laundry to wash the uniforms, and also lives on the freight to transport things to there and bring back and stuff. It's a position that, well, we are a service provider. Our service provides always the recycle ends. So this is the final result of a uniform recycled.
Right.
As I said, we priced by kilo, and the kilo usually goes about, I don't know, maybe $3-4 per kilo. $2, then $2-3 per kilo. The currencies change. Yeah, the currencies change. But for example, just to ensure, maybe 30-40% of our price goes straight to the laundry. Our next thinking is can we set up a laundry inside,
right?
To generate, and once we are social business, perhaps to have prisoners to work in this laundry, or women that have been abused, or we are setting up what would be our public to work in this laundry. But definitely the laundry today is our big shark.
Yeah.
Did you want to make a comment or question?
Oh, my questions are too. I came late, and my questions are really basic about your company, and I'm sorry, I'm sure everyone else already knows, but so you're taking these waste textiles, which are they're used uniforms, I take it, they're old stuff, and then are you using just the fabric that's already that remains intact, or are you repurposing, like are you actually recreating fabric?
Hold up your picture. Fabric.
I do not recreate fabric. What's your name? Sorry.
Sarah.
Thanks for this question. We do not recreate fabric. we believe that there is a lot of initiatives already creating biodegradable fabrics or recyclable fabrics, as the lady that's present somewhere else. And what we do is, our job is to avoid the fabric goes to landfill, is to avoid fabrics to be incinerated. That's what Retalhar does. So we recycle them, transforming. This is a piece of uniform. Okay, it's a pant, and we recycle them.
There we go.
Yeah, that's good. Now we see.
And then what do you do with that?
This is a raw material for a blanket.
So it's like stuff.
There's the blanket.
Oh, wow.
So that's the
So
blanket itself.
Yeah, that's right. The main raw material of this blanket is uniforms. That could be normal clothes. That could be my T-shirt, her T-shirt, our clothes. But we understand that it would be very difficult to make. We all pay to Retalhar runs, and companies need to make it happen. Companies need to dispose their uniforms through an environmental friendly way. Makes sense? Do you understand now?
I do. And earlier you were holding up in the presentation, I think, a bag. So is that an example where you re-sew the material that comes to you, or?
What did you say? Sorry?
So the bag that you showed earlier, yeah, those were made directly from the uniform itself.
Yeah, but this is a bag directly from the uniform itself. This is an airplane company, and they bought back to use to their employees.
Okay.
So that's you didn't shred up the uniform. That's a fabric.
Yeah, that's
so
right. I
sometimes
didn't
you shred it, and
because-
sometimes you
he didn't want.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
He wanted to have bags. No, that's right.
Great. Thank you very much. This is really exciting. This is exciting. We want to have an update or report later.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bob.
Hear how this goes.
Yeah, you have to make sure you stay in touch with Climate Collab, and we'll be in touch with you too about opportunities to engage in our winners program and to share your updates and everything.
Yes, we love it. We love to hear this. Thank you guys to open this channel to us. It's amazing to be able to be here talking to you and presenting Retalhar to you all.
Wonderful. All right, great. Well, we're wrapping up the session. So thanks for being available, and thanks for those that joined us live for this conversation. And we'll talk to you soon. We'll end the session.
All right, but we stay connected.
So the session is wrapping up now. So that concludes the session.
Oh, okay.
Great. All right, so I'll just show you what the rest of the room looks like. So there's some people there who are having conversations, but they're wrapping up, and we're going to move to the next session in a moment.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Julian. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.